Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Just Like You show. I am your host, Alexis Christine, and I am a spiritual mindset coach and Reiki master, helping women break through their limiting beliefs, rewire their brain, and manifest the life of their dreams. Just Like You is a podcast for all of the divine souls looking for guidance on their healing and ascension journey. We explore the depths of the universe, hold space for vulnerable conversations about spirituality and self-development, delve into the esoteric things like how to manifest, star seeds, the astral realm, and shed light on taboo topics such as plant medicine and so much more. I am honored that you are here to take this journey with me. I want everyone listening to be able to leave each episode feeling inspired and having learned something tangible to take away into their day-to-day life. If you feel called to work with me or explore this work deeper, please reach out at imalexischristine.com or you can DM me on Instagram at iam.alexischristine. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Just Like You. I'm your host, Alexis Christine, and today we are going to be talking about quantum jumping. So this is something that I have talked about for a very long time on TikTok. It is actually what grew my following on TikTok. And I have a lot of friends and people on Instagram and things like that who don't really know what quantum jumping is. They're not really in that area of like the science, esoteric-y vibe of like thought. And I wanted to do a quick episode explaining what quantum jumping actually is, the kind of methodology behind it, the scientists who have proven that it's possible, all those types of things. And I'm truly so excited for this episode because I think it's going to be such an interesting, informational episode for a lot of you who have heard it or seen it around and don't really know what it is, or who just have absolutely no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, because it is just such an eye-opening thing. And it's one of my favorite things to do. It's one of my favorite meditations to make for people when I do my custom meditations. And I've had so much success with it myself. I've seen my friends quantum jump, quantum leap. My customers who have bought the meditations literally within days have messaged me being like, holy shit, this thing that was outlined in my custom meditation has now just happened. Like, just so many amazing things. So I really want to be able to share with you guys what it is, how magical it is, and yeah, just get you on the quantum jump vibe. You know, we all got to be living our best lives out here. The world is not happy when there's unhappy people. So the more of us who are happy, manifesting, living our dream lives, just like in a state of bliss and high vibe, the happier of a place the world will be in general. So let's fucking do it. I obviously want to pull a card first, so let's do that real quick. Okay, so today's card is called Direction. The elements are Super 7 and Alrisha Star, and the words related are transformation, lessons, and divine right. So this card talks about finding your way to your spiritual connection, your soul purpose, all of those things through the shamanic medicine wheel. So for that, if you look through the east, that's where you'll experience success and victories. The north is where you'll learn survival and where you'll experience hardship and sadness. The west is where you'll experience transformation and the end of a cycle. And the south is where you will receive abundance and learn lessons about your courage and your strength. So we all experience birth, life, death, and rebirth. It's our divine right. It's our sacred path. So it's basically asking us, what are we going to learn along the way? So Alrisha, which was one of the elements that I spoke about, it's the brightest star in the constellation of Pisces, which is so funny because I'm a Pisces. I'm a Pisces sun. But the word Alrisha actually means knot in Arabic, and it symbolizes the representation of connecting our human experience to our divine self. And then the second element was the Super 7 crystal. So this will aid us in each direction as we head through our spiritual journey. It's inevitable that we're going to hit north, east, south, and west. We're going to hit them all at some point. So this crystal is really there to just give us guidance. It'll help us. And it's a combination of 7 different crystals, which is obviously why it's called the Super 7. And these crystals are amethyst, clear quartz, smoky quartz, rutilated quartz, geothite, I don't know how to say this one, caxanite, and lepidocrasite. I've never heard of those two. And they contain metaphysical properties, making it a healing and energetic powerhouse. So the Super 7 crystal, if you're using it in your practices, will also help balance your chakras and your auric field and energetically align yourself with your higher self. And the affirmation that you can use for this card is, I go forth in each direction to learn my karmic lessons and awaken my divine self. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the episode. So we are going to be talking about quantum jumping, okay? Also known as quantum shifting, timeline hopping, timeline leaping, quantum leaping. There's all these different words for it. But essentially what it is moving your awareness into another timeline. And I'm going to kind of explain what a timeline is. But first, let me just acknowledge the scientists and researchers who have proven the theory of quantum jumping. If you guys want to pause and go research them, you're more than welcome. I might actually butcher some of their names because they're not in English, but I apologize in advance for that. So the first one is Zlatko Minev. I'll put all of these in the notes below as well. The second one is Niels Bohr. Third one, we should all know, Erwin Schrödinger. Schrödinger's cat, you know, the vibe. And then the fourth one is actually Albert Einstein. And I also have a link from the CIA. Do we trust them? Do we not? I don't know. Proving or talking about how quantum jumping is actually real and how they've seen it with different particles. So jumping the different dimensions. And before I give you my kind of high level, easily digestible definition, I do want to give you guys the scientific definition just so that you have it in your realm of knowledge. So a quantum jump is the abrupt transition of a quantum system, so an atom, a molecule, atomic nucleus, from one quantum state to another, from one energy level to another. So I'll give you my definition in a second, but when you think about that, remember that when I talk about jumping from one timeline to another, okay? Because a timeline is a dimension, a different energetic state, a different quantum state. So it all kind of goes in together. I'm just simplifying it in a way with words that are more understandable to like the human brain, like not so sciencey. So I'm going to try and explain this in a very digestible way. But essentially, there is a belief system that every decision you make in your life splits off into a different timeline. So from the moment you're born, every decision you make is creating another path that will determine your life. So for example, I'm sitting here right now in Costa Rica. I'm on one specific timeline. If I had decided not to come to Costa Rica and go to Bali, like I was originally going to do, that timeline is out there. That is happening somewhere in a different dimension, in a different reality. Then there's also going to be a third timeline where I chose to stay in Toronto and stay at home. And then there's the fourth timeline where I actually stayed in London because that was like a 4-part decision that I had to make. So, simpler example, if you are deciding whether or not to go to a concert, okay, and you decide to go, the timeline you're on, you're attending that concert, and now there's another timeline automatically branched off where you decide not to go and you stay home. So essentially, every decision you make has created an entirely new timeline, one with the decision you chose and one with the decisions that you didn't choose. And so when you think about it that way, there's literally thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of different timelines that are all just out there. They're happening, but our awareness, our consciousness is in this current timeline right now. So when we hear words like, oh, I quantum leaped, I quantum jumped, I timeline hopped, I timeline shifted, all of those things, it's referring to taking your conscious awareness right now from this timeline and moving it into a different timeline that is also currently happening. And the reason that people will do this is because there are certain timelines where the goals that you want, the things you're working towards, the life that you want to create for yourself are happening in a different timeline. They're more readily available in a different timeline. So you're going to shift your awareness from where you are now into the timeline where those things are on the path that you're going. So you're literally shifting your awareness from one series of possibilities into another series of possibilities. Okay, so then when we jump to these different timelines, we're putting ourselves in a reality where the things that we want or the things that we're trying to achieve are more accessible. So it's not that you're just going to jump and already have all of these things, right? It's more that with the timeline you're going to, those things are laid out on that path to be achieved. So things are already in motion. You still have to put effort in, you still have to work towards it. But say, for example, you're in this timeline and you're really struggling to create an opportunity, like you're trying to find a job and you just can't get one. And you quantum jump, you timeline hop, whatever, into another reality. And like 3 days later, you get an offer for your absolute dream job. You shifted realities into one where the things that you're looking for, the things that you're trying to call in, the life that you're trying to create is more readily available. Those opportunities are there. So that is very simply what quantum jumping is, and it's extremely powerful. I have had some insane changes in my life through quantum jumping, quantum leaping, and I've had friends and clients, again, also have like the most insane things happen. And so the way that I do this, the way my clients do this, the way that I teach people to do this is you have to align yourself, who you are now, into the vibration of who it is that you're trying to become, the version of you want to jump into, you want to wake up as, right? And then when you're visualizing this, you physically put yourself now into that body, you jump into it, you align with it, you merge together and truly become that version of you. And there's so many different ways to do this. One of them is with water. Water is seriously one of the most powerful things, and it truly does hold energy. So there's different quantum jumping methods you can do with water. There's like the water method where you have 2 cups and like you do some stuff. There's a water method where you're in the shower and you like visualize your old self washing away and like revealing the version of you you're trying to jump into. I personally have tried both, but where I see the most success for me is actually through visualization meditations, and that's what I help my clients with. I create custom quantum jump meditations for them. And essentially in this meditation, you like visualize your dream life, what you're trying to call in, the version of you that you're trying to be, all those things. And there's a specific technique that you use to like step into that body and merge your consciousness together. And then when you wake up, like you'll be in that new kind of reality. Obviously, things don't always happen super quick. So some people will, within a few days see some like changes, whether they look different, their body's different. I personally noticed, it's going to sound so crazy, but the color on the back of my shoes changed. The loop on the back of my shoes used to be gray. They're white and gray shoes. Like the only colors on there are white and gray. And then I did a quantum jump meditation. And the next day I woke up and the loop on the back of them that you like put your finger through to put your shoes on was now black. And I know for a fact it was not black before because I'm very like weird with the colors of things when I buy them, and I hate the way it looks that it's black. I would never have bought them if I had seen that. Like I'm very picky. So that was a crazy change that I noticed. Another one was an entire fucking fountain popping up overnight on a road in London that I literally walked down daily. Okay, you guys, I walked down this road daily. And all of a sudden, there's this fucking fountain in the middle of the sidewalk with a little like, I don't know what to call it. It's like a little like indent in the sidewalk leading down to the curb so that if the water overflowed, it would like trickle down. And this thing was like rusted and shit. Like it had been there for years. But in the 5 or 6 months I had been living in that specific area and I was walking down this street on a daily basis, I had never once seen it. It was not there. So there's little changes like that you'll notice. And the changes don't actually have to do with anything that you're trying to call in or what the details were and where you're trying to jump. It's more that once you've entered a different timeline, there's going to be little things that are just different. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of the Mandela effect, but there's things like the Bernstein Bears. We grew up with it being spelt one way and now all of a sudden it's spelt a different way, and like random logos that we all remember looking one way are looking a different way. That's because as a collective, as a planet, as a consciousness, we have all shifted timelines. And so things that we remember are now appearing in reality to be different. So it's just little things that you might notice. You'll look around and be like, I don't remember this. I don't remember that. Like, because you've jumped, you're in a different timeline. There was one time where I got into my shower and I was like, whoa, I'm a lot taller than the freaking handle than I used to be. Like it was at like a different height on my body, and my light switches in my flat were higher than normal. I was like, I don't remember having to reach this high to flick off the light. So it's just like little tiny changes that absolutely have nothing to do with what it is you're actually trying to call in. but they can be little things you notice to help you realize, like, holy shit, I fucking jumped. Sometimes the changes won't come for a couple weeks. Like, sometimes it can be a very gradual transition of things like falling into place and flowing. And one thing to reiterate, if you have limiting beliefs or mental blocks around what it is you're trying to jump into, so maybe you're trying to start a business, for example, and you can't get any clients, so you want to quantum jump into a reality where your business is super successful. You are not going to be able to quantum jump into that if you have limiting beliefs and mental blocks around the fact that you can actually start a business, or that you're worthy of working with people, or that you can help people, or like whatever it is. Like maybe you're creating some artistic designs and you're trying to get lots of sales. If you don't believe that people are actually going to buy your shit, if you don't believe that your stuff is worth the amount you're selling it for, it doesn't matter how many times you try and quantum jump. If those mental blocks are still there, it's not going to work, because your belief systems, they're part of your consciousness. So you're shifting your consciousness into a different reality, but your consciousness is staying the same. Like that isn't changing. So you can try quantum jumping, but just beware that if you have some deep core limiting beliefs and mental blocks around the things that you're trying to achieve, and you're looking at quantum jumping as a way to just like quote unquote fix them, you still have to do the inner work and remove those blocks for things to flow in. And again, shameless plug, I am a coach and I help people rewire their brain and take away these mental blocks. So if you do have things you're struggling with and you need help, DM me and let's see how we can work together, because removing these blocks and starting to quantum jump, manifest your dreams, and like all the things that come in, your whole life will literally change. It's the most powerful, magical thing in the world. So that is my definition, my explanation of quantum jumping. If you guys have any more questions or are a little unclear on some areas, you can definitely look up all of those scientists that I said before. I will put them in the links below. You can DM me with any questions and I will do my best to explain. I would be weary on getting a quantum jump meditation from YouTube, because there are some people on YouTube who will put subliminal messages into the music and in the background and stuff, and you just need to make sure that you're finding it from a reputable source. But this is something that I cannot speak enough great words about. It has truly been life-changing for me, and I hope that it will also be life-changing for you. Next week's episode, I'm actually going to put up a free quantum jump meditation for you all to try and explore and just see how you feel. So make sure you stay tuned for that. As always, if you guys are enjoying the podcast, if you enjoy the episodes, if you're learning from it, if you're finding it insightful, please give us a review, give us a rating, and share it with your friends. I really appreciate all the love and support you guys have given me so far, and I just want to continue to help as many people as possible on their spiritual ascension journey and just on their healing journey and through life altogether. The light in me acknowledges the light in each and every one of you, and I hope you guys have the most wonderful rest of your day, coming from someone just like you.